It's Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton, along with Wade Neely, as we will be here with you for the next couple of hours, talking about sports topics of local, regional, and national importance. So stick around. I think it's going to be fun. Wade, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a big one. You know, it won't be as big as what went down on Amazon last night, but it's going to be big. That's the show today is going to be pretty epic, I think.
We got a lot to talk about, man. There's a lot that's gone on here over the past couple of days, a lot going on over the next few days. And so, yeah, you know, for mid-June, there's a lot, and probably even some stuff that we neglected to get to, actually, that we didn't get to yesterday, but we may try to work in at some point. But yeah, we had to kind of tweak our schedule a little bit today to accommodate a couple of great guests. But in the second hour, we will have John Denton, who covers the St. Louis Cardinals for MLB.com. He is in Birmingham for tonight's #MLB at Rickwood game between the Cardinals and the Giants. And so we'll be checking in with him at the top of hour number 2. He will be immediately followed by Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins. The third annual DSW Deserve to Win Celebrity All-Star Weekend is coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, but wanted to get him in to talk a little bit about what he's got going on, who he's got coming, and some other developments with the Tigers, who, as Joe Sullivan has kept us surprised over the course of the offseason, has, TSU has really had to retool their roster since last year's season finished up. So we'll check in with him, see where they're at on that. And like I said, check in with him on his Celebrity All-Star Weekend coming up over at Gentry Center next Saturday. It is Throwback Thursday. We will have our regular Throwback Thursday guest, Doug Feinberg from the Associated Press, joining us. Recurring Throwback Thursday guest. Well, he always manages to drop some knowledge when he comes through here, and it's worthy of hearing again. So we will in the next segment. We'll also be talking a little Braves, a little Major League Baseball, a little more Major League Baseball. And we'll wrap things up with the grab bag, talk a little college baseball, a little soccer, going to work a little hockey in as well. So some things to get to, and think it's going to be fun. Like I said, Wade, what you wound up doing last night?
Oh, last night. What was last night? Wednesday.
Yeah. They do run together, don't they?
Yeah, not a lot. Hung out. We did a special Juneteenth workout at the gym last night, and then kind of just plopped down on the couch and relaxed, and just took advantage of the midweek vibes. How about yourself?
Well, after a workout, plopping down on the couch probably is good. I'm intrigued by what a Juneteenth workout sounds like. We may have to talk about
CrossFit is weird. They just basically come up with reasons to torture you, and basically the 18, the 65, the 9, or the 19 and the 6 were kind of reoccurring themes throughout the workout. And then sat down just in time to catch the tail end of our good friend and buddy, Mr. Kendrick Lamar, just doing what he does on Amazon last night. So it was, all in all, not a bad Wednesday, I suppose.
Okay. The 65 concerns me a little bit. Is that like 65 reps of something, or?
Yeah, Russian twist last night. So it was there was a lot of work that went into that thing, but it was fun. Proud of everybody.
You deserve to plop down on the couch after that, sounds like.
Yeah, it was good. And I coached down there as well, and so we had some athletes that were getting after it pretty good, 4 good calls, and man, it was worth it. You get to eat a few little extra pieces of candy after a workout like that.
There you go. I went and checked out a little post-19 baseball action down at Columbia State. Did not go the post-19 seniors' way as they dropped a 6-2 decision to the impact players. But they've gotten off to a pretty good season so far. They won a tournament over at MTSU this past weekend. They played really well a couple of weekends ago over in North Carolina, and they are kind of rounding into shape for a team that hasn't spent a whole lot of time together until this last 2 or 3 weeks. So, summer baseball.
Is Jake Carden playing on that team? Former Giles County standout.
I think Jake probably aged out. Basically,
he's done at that point.
Yeah. I think they do have some some kids who just finished their freshman years at the collegiate level, but I think it kind of depends on where birthdays fall and that kind of thing as to whether they're able to do that. But the post-19 seniors, they basically are guys that just graduated from high school, guys that just finished their freshman years, or guys that will be going into their senior years this upcoming school year. That's kind of the 3-year age group that they're working with. They're 19U officially is what they are. So we will be checking them out periodically, like I said, getting our summer baseball fix. So before football gets cranked up in earnest. So that's coming. It's always coming. We've talked a little college football this week. I don't know that we've got any on the docket for today, but football is, there is no off season. So
constant movement in the world of pigskin for sure.
Exactly. That's what the show looks like. Let's go ahead and get into it, and let's go ahead and get started with yesterday's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Hey folks, this special Thursday rundown is brought to you by our friends at Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The Blue Raider Voice also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. So contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. That's Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Major League Baseball action of local interest from yesterday. The Braves with a 7-0 victory over Detroit in a matinee. The Astros last night took care of the White Sox 4-1 over at First Horizon Park. Both teams paying homage to Juneteenth. The Nashville Elite Giants with a 9-4 victory over the Durham Black Sox. In WNBA action yesterday, it was Indiana with an 88-81 win over Washington. Minnesota defeated the Dream of Atlanta 68-55, and more news coming out of that one later in the show. And the Las Vegas Aces defeated Seattle 94-83. Up in Toronto, the Nashville Soccer Club picked up a 2-1 victory over the host Toronto Football Club. Big win for everyone in.
Good win last night for NSC, no doubt about it. Scheduled today, MLB action. The Astros and the White Sox are already underway. We'll discuss them a little bit later in the program. We mentioned the Sounds. Durham continues its visit to Nashville as the Bulls will take on the Sounds at 6:35 tonight, coming your way from First Horizon Park. WNBA, we already had a matinee today. It was the Chicago Sky defeating the Dallas Wings. 83-72 was your final score there. And a big one tonight on Amazon. You can see it at 6 p.m. It'll be the Sparks at the Liberty. Once again, Sparks at Liberty tonight at 6 p.m. on Amazon. That wraps up today's schedule, and that will conclude today's rundown.
Top story for today brought to you as always by Piggly Wiggly in Neely's Mill in Columbia. Be sure and check out their delicious daily deli lunch options, which are available until 6 o'clock. Also, their hand-cut meats and everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill, Columbia, bringing you our top story. And, man, the WNBA is going through it right now from an injury standpoint. A couple of nights ago, rookie Cameron Brink of the LA Sparks suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament in her left knee, will be out for the rest of the year, which also puts her out of the upcoming Paris Olympics, where she was scheduled to play as a member of the 3-on-3 contingent for Team USA. So big disappointment there. You hate to see anybody get hurt, and she's been quietly having a really good season, and again was set to contribute in 3-on-3 when they head over to Paris here pretty soon. So adding injury to insult, last night the Atlanta Dreams' Ryan Howard appeared to twist an ankle in that loss to Minnesota. So she is also on the 3-on-3 roster for Team USA. No word as to the severity of her injury at this point, but things could be getting pretty dire for the 3-on-3 Team USA as they get ready to head into Olympic action.
Yeah, it does not look good. First Cam and then Ryan Howard, as I believe the formal roster only has 4 people. So they're going to be doing some scrambling, to say the least, especially if Howard is out for an extended period of time. But you're right. Tough for Cameron Brink. She was kind of having, like you said, a sneaky season, not really scoring a ton of points, but impacting the game on both ends of the court. Obviously, with her height and her length kind of leading the charge there. So awful looking clip as she goes down the other night. And it was one of those, yeah, you're hoping for the best, but you could almost just tell you're like, that does not look good. A player that tall, that big, and that fast should not be falling just like that. And so that was unfortunate. Then you and I texting last night about Ryan Howard. I mean, just the WNBA, as you said, is going through it from an injury standpoint right now. And this is kind of really unfortunate because you're talking about one of your obviously super young but up-and-coming players, and then certainly a younger but a very established player in the league that are now potentially out one for sure for the rest of the season, and the other waiting to see kind of the severity of that injury.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting, I think, to see how Ryan and the Dream handle this situation, because I mean, if it's a sprain, how quickly does she try to get back? Is she focusing on Paris? Is she focusing on getting back for the Dream? How do you handle that? And I'm not sure exactly the timetable for when Team USA 3-on-3 competition gets going over in Paris. But like you said, between Brink and Howard, and if that roster is as short as we think it is, they've got to get some reinforcements figured out here pretty quickly. And another player that we've heard connected with the U.S. Olympic team, Arike Ogunbowale, I think is how you pronounce that. Now I apologize if I tore it up, but the Dallas Wings forward is having an Achilles issue as well. And speaking of great seasons, she's averaging right under 25 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals. And, Dallas needs her back. And she removed herself from Olympic consideration, apparently. But I don't know if she is back on the board either with the 3-on-3 team or with the conventional squad at this point. But again, right now she is day to day with an Achilles issue. So yeah, tough times in the WNBA. Get some of those other stars wrapped in bubble wrap and try to keep them healthy here. So
yeah, got to protect everybody, because it is tough times. I did find an article online that said Aaliyah Boston is a potential candidate to hop in the 3-on-3 roster, and that's certainly not a bad backup to have at your disposal. And
as
then you
options
mentioned,
go, yeah,
for sure. And then Ogunbowale, you mentioned her going down with an injury. Like you said, we're losing key players that are just having really promising starts to the season, and they've all happened kind of in short order. Which, I mean, this is a league that was certainly kind of riding a big wave of popularity, and you hope these injuries kind of don't derail that somewhat.
Absolutely. Yeah. They've got eyes on them like never before for obvious reasons. And you really want to build off of that as best you can. And when you're losing players of the caliber of, Cam Brink and Ryan Howard and Ogunbowale, it's tough. I mean, again, you just hate to see folks get hurt, and particularly folks that were playing at the level that these three have been to this point. So obviously Brink isn't going to be back this season, but hopefully Howard and Enrique can get those situations addressed and maybe get back on the floor here in short order. So we'll be keeping an eye on that.
And the interesting thing, real quick, is the Sparks. Yeah, they're toiling at the bottom of the division, as are the Wings. So in the grand scheme of things, especially that last injury, maybe not going to make a huge difference. But the Dream are smack dab in the thick of things. They're just below 500, and they're 7th overall in the league. So they're kind of entrenched in that playoff discussion. So that, with the injury to Ryan Howard, that'll be the one to really keep your eyes on, I think.
Absolutely. And she's right in the middle of that. Again, we talked, I think, last week about her being the youngest WNBA player to reach the 200 made threes milestone. And she's really a dynamic talent for the Dream. So again, hoping she can get back. And sprained ankle, the severity thereof is always kind of up in the air. And again, the timetable is up in the air as well. So, maybe she gets back for Paris. Maybe she doesn't. I'm not sure, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's go ahead and take a break from the Lee Company studios here on Main Street Sports Today. When we return, again, it is Throwback Thursday, and we will have Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press talking more women's basketball. Stay tuned after this break.
Wild horses are coming to Franklin. The Mustang Heritage Spectacular. 4 days of celebrity freestyle, liberty training, trick riding, and extreme Mustang makeover. Plus the shopping. Over 100 vendor spaces with clothing, food, home goods, and things you can't find anywhere else. All that and celebrity signings at a music stage too. June 20th through 23rd at Williamson County Ag Expo Park. Don't miss a moment with a weekend pass. MustangHeritageFoundation.org for tickets.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Patton, that's Wade Neely. We are Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, and this is Throwback Thursday. Wade, Doug Feinberg never disappoints, and this upcoming throwback is no exception, as we caught up with him, I guess, about a week ago, talking a little WNBA, a little Olympics, and one rookie who is involved in one but not the other. So, interesting conversation. I'm sure you'd agree.
Yeah, Doug always, like you said, he never disappoints. He brings his A game. He's got the deets. He's been covering these young ladies from the time they were in college all the way through their professional careers. The man is a walking legend in my book.
Absolutely. So let's go now to our conversation with Doug. Going to talk a little women's basketball here in this segment. And you know, if you've been keeping up over the past any period of time, basically, there's a name that's really moving the needle in women's basketball right now. And Saturday, the roster started to trickle out. Wasn't announced until later Saturday, but the roster for Team USA in the Olympics was starting to come out. And Caitlin Clark was not on said roster. And again, as Wade and I mentioned yesterday, all hell started to break loose, as does everything involving Caitlin Clark. But I saw this tweet from our next guest Saturday evening, and it really reached out to me. If you can't see our show, it's funny. I believe I'm the only U.S. journalist who has covered every women's basketball game at Olympics since 2008 and World Cup since 2010. There are a lot of bad takes and bad narratives out there today. Hashtag show up before you speak out. With that said, I felt like this guy's got something to say, and I want him to say it for us. So we welcome back Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press here on Main Street Sports Today. Doug, get it off your chest.
I were talking track. You know, I like the track introduction. You know, was it the New York State track meet this weekend when all hell broke loose Saturday morning? I woke up to a text saying, "What do you think of the U.S. Olympic team?" I'm like, I'm in Syracuse right now. I just rolled out of bed for a track meet up here. I don't know what you're talking about. Then I had to go back and do it. I'm like, didn't see that coming at 2 a.m. Saturday night or late Friday night. I should say.
Mm-hmm. What, as everybody started to lose their mind about this, Doug, again, you have covered every Olympics since 2008, each of which, by the way, have resulted in a U.S. gold medal. You have covered every World Cup since 2010. How big a deal is it that Caitlin Clark will not be representing Team USA in Paris this summer?
So I think you have to go back to what the U.S. selection committee's job is. It's to put together the best team they can to win a gold medal. And as easy as it sounds to do that, the world's getting better. I think that will have had, by the time they play their first game in Paris, maybe 13 hours of practice time as a team, as the 12 individuals together, which, again, you have the best players in the world. So they're really talented. They're really good. They can get away with it, so to speak. But that's not easy. So the criteria that they have to choose from for putting a team together includes how versatile a player is, leadership ability, experience helps for that. Marketability and popularity. This is not a popularity. It's not the queen of the prom you're voting for here. It's not the popularity contest. It's who's going to help this team win the best. And I think Caitlin's a great player. I think she's going to be on many, many Olympic teams down the road. But think about it. It's a 4-year process to put this team together. 3 years this time because the Olympics were a year delayed because of COVID. But it's a 3-year window they're putting together this team. And there's an offense, there's a defense, and you're asking a 22-year-old kid, if she was on this team, to learn a point guard, I should say, to learn an offense, to get the ball to the players where they can be the most successful to score on the offensive end and defensively guard players in the European style she's never seen before. So those are two huge boxes that Caitlin Clark doesn't check because she's had a chance to play. She's only 22 years old. So I think that's the first thing that was annoying me, that there was a marketability and popularity, the two important things that they should be thinking about. And that's the furthest thing from the mind of a committee trying to put together a gold medal winning team.
I think in all of this that there are two things that are being missed as well, Doug, and Wade and I kind of knocked this around a little bit yesterday. One, Caitlin Clark did not attend the tryouts for the Olympic team. Is that correct?
So they had camps over the 4 years or the 3 years, and they invited her to the one in February. She couldn't make it, obviously, because they're in the middle of the Iowa season. And then they said, hey, if you don't make the Final Four, if I was not in the Final Four, we'd love to have you come to Cleveland and play in the training camp we're having there, the last training camp we're doing before the Olympic team's named. And sure enough, the Final Four and the championship game, so she couldn't make it. And by the way, attending that camp was not if you're not there, you're not on the team. That's another misconception out there that earlier on. You didn't have to be there, but for her, it helped. They could have seen her play against other pros, and she would have learned some things. So it wasn't her fault she wasn't there.
Right.
She wasn't there. She did not attend any of the camps.
Okay. Second thing, how tired is Caitlin Clark after going through the college season that she went through and then rolling almost straight into the WNBA? I mean, isn't she likely experiencing a level of fatigue that this might be a blessing for her not going to the Olympics?
So I'll say I'm tired from covering from the Selection Sunday show through the NCAA tournament. You usually have a little bit of a time between that and the WNBA. That wasn't the case this year. It just kept on going, and stories, which, by the way, it's great that people are talking about WNBA. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. But I said I was tired. I didn't have to travel to games, play games against the best players in the world. The schedule they had was unbelievable. I mean, it was unfortunate. The 11 games in the first 20 days of the season, and they played really good teams, and they were exhausted. I saw them play the last one of that stretch in New York. I think it was a Sunday ago, or I guess maybe 10 days ago now. They were exhausted. I mean, they'd have come off a back-to-back. And that's Caitlin now coming off an unbelievable college season where she had all the pressure on her, breaking the Division I scoring record and getting her team to the championship game. So I can only imagine how tired she is, as all rookies are coming to the league. And it's not the worst thing to have a month off in late July, early August to recharge your batteries and get ready to play, and hopefully be playing for something in the last month of the season to try to get a team into the playoffs. So it's not the worst thing in the world to have that month for her to recover, recharge, recoup, and be ready for that stretch run.
Doug, you said that it's not about popularity and brand recognition because you're trying to win a gold medal. So for those that maybe haven't been following the U.S. women's team that's taken gold so many times, what all goes into forming a team that doesn't get a whole lot of preparation beforehand?
So that's a great question. And listen, it's probably the unpopular opinion to say that popularity doesn't matter, and everyone's hot take has been, they should really put her on to help grow the game and grow the interest. And I will get to your question in 1 second, but in a roundabout way, what is funny to me, and I've covered, I said, the Olympics since 2008. To me, the Olympics are more about the non-basketball sports, the ones, the track, the gymnastics, the swimming, that only get that sort of 1 week every 4 years to showcase the best of the best. Whereas you could go to a basketball game any day in the winter for the men or in the summer for the women and see really good players play each other on the court, and it's pretty good talent there. So that popularity, that's why I think it's a little bit of a misnomer. To answer the question, they put the team together. There's a pool that the U.S. starts with, and once the Olympics are over, they put together probably 25, 30 people they think could be on the team, and then they narrow it down over time. It really, I talked to Jen Rosati, who's the selection committee chair, the other day, and it's a 3-year process. They look at every camp. At the camp's done, they talk amongst the committee themselves. They have Cheryl Reeve, the coach, come on for the call and get her thoughts on who was playing well, who wasn't, things she wants to see. Another misconception, the coach has no input at all as far as deciding who's on the team. She can say what she's looking for, but she doesn't choose players. But they try to basically put together a jigsaw puzzle of who can fit well, who's played well, what can give the coach of the team, the system they like to run, the best chance to win. And that's what they've done so well since 1996 when they've won the first of the 7 straight gold medals.
Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Doug, I'm going to run through the roster real quick. Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, Chelsea Gray, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Jackie Young, and Kalia Copper. Who do you take off for Caitlin?
That's a really good question. I wouldn't take any of those 12 off. I think that's the best 12 you could have. The other thing I'll say is I don't think Caitlin was next up. If they don't do it by like who's 13, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm. But they don't do a first out, huh?
It's not the NCAA tournament. There's no the first 4 out. It's Jen Rosati said to me again, like there are a lot of players, and I didn't ask her name who the players were. It's pretty obvious that checked a bunch of the boxes for their criteria, that had played in the World Cup before, played in the Olympics before, or versatile, leadership, and played in camps. And Caitlin doesn't check any of those boxes. Players like Ariel Atkins, who was on the 2021 Olympic team as well as the World Cup team. Arike Ogunbowale, who's the number 2 leading scorer in the WNBA right now, who's not played on an Olympic team or a World Cup team, is a really, really good player. Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark's teammate, has been to every training camp they've had and didn't make the roster. So there are people out there that, could be on that team before Caitlin if they need an alternate to fill in for somebody. And that's the other misconception that's out there. There's no pecking order of alternates. Not that they go, okay, as you said, first one out, second one out, third one out. If a big needs to be replaced, they're going to replace him with a big. They're not going to replace him with Caitlin Clark. They'll figure what need they need to fill there, and that's what they'll do. The last thing I'll say to you right now on that thing you just mentioned, 5 months ago, if you put that roster together, the story everyone will be talking about probably coming into the Olympics right now, and how I think they will be, is Brittany Griner playing for the U.S. the first time internationally since she was jailed in Russia, and how exciting that is for her to put a USA jersey on, all that she went through. That would be the story that everyone's talking about leading up to Paris in a month, and hopefully I think that's where we're going to head after the Caitlin Clark stuff has sort of died down a bit.
That and the Las Vegas Aces influence on this roster as well, I would think. The Las Vegas Aces, who nobody's talking about.
Yeah, they have 4 players on the team, which is great. I remember years ago they had 4 Minnesota Lynx players on the team. It was Maya Moore, Lindsay Whalen, Simone Augusta, Sylvia Fowles. If a team doesn't have much practice time, if you have 4 players that play together and know each other well on the court, it helps to put them in together because they can run things that they know and be comfortable. And you have that out with Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young, that you have 4 players that are, really good players that if things aren't going well, try that lineup and they could probably get you in a pretty good spot.
Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Let's talk some non-Caitlin Clark WNBA, because again, the Aces not necessarily looking like they're in championship form right now. Dropped one to the Sparks over the weekend. Coach got tossed. Little frustration out there in Vegas for Becky Hammond and the young ladies.
We all know how difficult it is to repeat as champion. To three-peat's even harder. They're missing Chelsea Gray right now, the point god, as they call her. That's a huge loss. If you don't have the person who runs your offense, we were talking obviously before about Caitlin and how she hadn't been in the USA system to learn the offense. If you don't have the head of the snake, it's tough for the snake to survive. And that's sort of what the Aces are going through right now. And listen, it's going to help them in the long run. Jackie Young has had a phenomenal start to the season. Asia Wilson is picked up where she left off, if not playing better, and is putting up her MVP candidacy early right now. I mean, she's, I think, scored over 20 points in every game. She's rebounding. She's blocking shots. She has steals. I mean, she's been phenomenal. They're just missing one or two players right now that they need to get these wins. They'll be fine. Once everyone's healthy, they'll be fine. They probably won't be the 1 seed maybe, but they'll be okay. They'll be one of the best teams, and they'll probably be the favorite still to win the championship.
And they won't take any motivation from not being the number 1 seed either, will they?
No, they don't take motivation from anything, right? They're just even keel.
Just go play.
As it is. Yeah.
The other Iowa Hawkeye that's in the WNBA right now is, speaking of the Aces, doing some pretty good stuff as well.
Kate Martin, tremendous. What a great story that is. She went to the draft to support Caitlin, sits in the audience, and gets her name called, and you're drafted. And, like, everyone was happy for her. And she has fit in so well there in Vegas. She's probably the most liked player on that team by her teammates and the fans because she plays so hard. She's the glue. She got her first start the other night. They lost the game, but it wasn't for her lack of ability. I think she had double the figures in scoring. She's great. I saw on Twitter, I want to credit the right person who said this out there, but I don't remember the name. But I think they started calling her fans the Martinis, which I thought was really cute. So, like, she's just really, I mean, they loved her at Iowa. They love her in Vegas. She is the consummate team player who is going to be a great coach when her playing career is all finished. That's what she wants to do when she's done playing. Man, she is fun to watch, and everybody says great things about her.
Doug, any thoughts on Kate's comment the other day about Asia Wilson saying sitting next to the best player in the world, best teammate in the presser afterward?
Smart kid. She is right now the best player in the world, the way she's playing. I mean, consistency. She does everything, both ends of the court. I mean, she lost the MVP last year by a hair, by like a vote or two, which could have gone either way. And it doesn't take away from Breanna Stewart or Alyssa Thomas. Any of those three could have been MVP, and you wouldn't have gone wrong. I think that Asia, as I said, raised her game to another level. And listen, Kate's smart. The one sitting next to you is the best player. You say she's the best player, and she is the best player. So another smart move by the rookie, so to speak. But just Asia's been phenomenal. And really, I mean, I've been impressed with her ever since she came into the pros, but she's really raised her game to another level so far this early part of the season.
Doug, what team, what player should we be talking about in the WNBA right now that we're not?
I think Minnesota Lynx is probably the team that's played really well to start the season. I mean, Nafisa Collier is another one who's been raised her game, Olympian, as you mentioned, who is probably in the short list for MVP candidates right now. I mean, if Vegas continues on their 500 level path, it may be tough for Asia to win MVP just because if you're 500, another team comes in first and is whatever, 30-10, and they have a player like Nafisa Collier, you probably have to look that way to vote. But she's been fantastic. She obviously had the baby a couple years ago, and she's back healthy and ready to go and back in prime form. She's really, really good. So that's probably a player and a team that people aren't probably talking as much about as they should right now, but she's been great. And the other thing I'll say is, I mean, listen, we talked Caitlin Clark for a while right now. This is a really great rookie class. Caitlin Clark and Kate Martin. Angel Reese has been playing really, really well. Cam Brink in LA has been playing really well. Rakia Jackson, Alyssa Pilley. I mean, there have been some really great rookies that have helped bring everybody up here. It's not just the Caitlin Clark show, although everyone likes to say it, and she deserves every flower she's gotten so far. but other players, other rookies have really done a great job so far this season.
Would it be a shock if anybody other than Caitlin Clark is Rookie of the Year?
That's a great question. Shock? Surprise, I'd say. I wouldn't say shock because of the numbers that they're putting up. I mean, Angel Reese has got almost a double-double a game, which is phenomenal. Cam Brink is number 2 in blocks on the defensive end. She might win Defensive Player of the Year if Asia Wilson doesn't. Listen, Caitlin is the favorite coming in. Name recognition helps. Caitlin's had a good year so far stat-wise. Everyone thought she'd drop in 30 a game, which wasn't realistic, but she's averaging, I think, 16 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. Those are really good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not what you're used to seeing out of her from college, but she's done nothing wrong to sort of not win Rookie of the Year. I think the other players have surprised a little bit how well they've played early in the season.
Is that the biggest issue around Caitlin, Doug, that everybody expected this to be Iowa 2.0 for her?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, people asked me before the season, what do you think she's going to do this year? I said, listen, if she averages 20 points, that's a really good season. I thought there'd be adjustment time. It's the ball's in her hands a lot, obviously. She gets the shots she wants. I think there was unreal expectations of what people, and I'm talking the new fans of WNBA, not the ones that have been around for a while, thought she was going to do and could do. I think she's probably a little bit under points right now. I think that will go up as the season goes on. But, yeah, I mean, listen, she's selling out arenas. They have the highest attendance in 26 years. The TV numbers have been through the roof. It's record ratings everywhere she plays. And also games she's not involved in are great ratings for the WNBA, which I think is important to note that people aren't just watching her. They're watching the whole league.
Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Doug, we appreciate it. How did the track meet go this weekend?
Yeah, big question right there.
So it wasn't as good as the Vandy kid because that's really impressive numbers. I had 2 kids compete, and they were great. We had one girl who was a triple jump hurdler. She came in 5th in the state in the triple jump, which I thought was fantastic. And she actually, I don't know how great track knowledge you guys are. She cut 0.5 off her 100-meter hurdle time, which is unbelievable. I mean, you usually try to PR by like maybe 0.1 or 0.2. She cut 0.5 off, breaking the 15-second barrier for the first time, and doing it in back-to-back races. So that was great. And the other girl was a senior who's going to Howard next year. She actually had a tough race in the 400 because of the conditions, but came back and ran the 200 and made the final. So great way to end her high school career. So I was really proud of both of them.
That's awesome. Track and field, as I have to remind myself. But yeah, Doug, we appreciate you spending some time with us today and look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
June 20th, 2011, Tim Hudson struck out 8 over 8 shutout innings and drove in the game's only runs with his 2-out, 2-run home run in the 7th as Atlanta blanked visiting Toronto 2-0. Hudson allowed just 2 hits and retired 20 straight batters before a walk and a single in the 9th ended his complete game bid. Craig Kimbrell struck out the only 3 batters he faced to finish off the contest. That was this day in Braves history. Wade, do you remember when we talked about our best or favorite college baseball players in top 5? Last week, I guess? Hello? Wade, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was going to say you and Blaine had a quality list with some.
Oh,
some
that was me
names,
and Blaine. That's right.
Names on those lists, as you might say now.
Yeah. Sorry, the days start to run together. Yeah, that was me and Blaine. Yeah, but yeah, Tim Hudson was on my list and kind of flashed some of that greatness on this day in Braves history. Braves off today. Well-earned off day after an 11-2 cumulative series sweep of visiting Detroit over the previous 3 days. And, I don't want to make much of little, but again, 11 runs in 3 games, given the way this Braves offense had been operating here of late, is a flurry. And I don't know if Snit Bear has anything to do with it or not. Are you familiar with this phenomenon, Wade?
No, sir. Tell me more.
Apparently, here not long ago, Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, got a stuffed bear. I think it was given to him by someone. I'm not sure all of the details on this, but apparently he gave it to Marcell Ozuna, who is known as the Big Bear in the Braves clubhouse and elsewhere. The bear, once given to Ozuna, has been showing up in the dugout and has, sunflower seeds and Ozuna's first baseman's mitt, which is kind of funny in and of itself. But, the bear has a very prominent place on the dugout bench now, and I don't think they've lost, or they've only lost once since he showed up. Again, not sure of all the details, but you remember when we were talking about the summer sausage in the Twins dugout here not long ago?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, baseball teams, seemingly more so than anybody else, will find anything to grab a hold of in the name of, keeping success going. So right now for the Braves, it seems like Snit Bear is going to be around for a minute.
That rolls one right into the other, because we just saw the hottest phenomenon. The Mets finally lost after Grimace had thrown out the first pitch. They were on a 7-game win streak. So now we move into Snip Bear territory. We had the sausage, we had the Grimace, and now we're on to the Snip Bear. I like it. It rolls from one team right into the next, it seems like.
It's funny how baseball works like that, man. And, full grown men, getting into the Grimace and stuffed bears and that kind of thing. It's really cool, which maybe baseball lends itself to that kind of thing in a way no other sport does, just because the schedule is so long. You got to do something to break things up.
Schedule so long, and really, whether nobody wants to admit it or not, baseball guys in their heart of hearts, they're all a little bit nerdy and a little bit odd. And you kind of have to be to play that long, and you have to be for a sport that relies on, just the tiniest of margins. So you got to have a little something when you're in a little funk just to cling on to. And whether it's a bear, whether it's a piece of meat in the locker room, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, I suppose. Don't cut that, Mark.
We got to get something for Houston, because after a 4-1 win yesterday over the White Sox, they are trailing the White Sox 3-1 right now in the bottom of the 6th. We got to do something to get you guys going. Hunter Brown with a nice performance last night, though.
Yeah, good little win for him. Struggling today. Eric Getty was going, had high hopes. The good news and the bad news about baseball. The good news is when you're rolling, it's a long season, and you wish it would last forever. And the bad news is when your team's not playing so well, you can't just pack it up and leave. You gotta suck it up for all 162, and that's firmly where Houston is headed right now.
Play it out. Absolutely. Some good news for a former Vandy boy, Brian Reynolds, who played his high school ball at Brentwood High School before playing at Vanderbilt. Hit a solo home run in the 8th last night, extending his hitting streak to 17 games, but more important, providing the only run in Pittsburgh's 1-0 win over Cincinnati. So we have been talking about the Pirates, but it's typically been more from the mound and Paul Skeens, but Brian Reynolds on a nice little run right now.
Good run for him. And that was I watched a little bit of that game actually yesterday. That was a crazy game, and you're right. It was pitcher's duel. 5 combined hits, and Reynolds cranks the only run of the game on that solo homer that broke it. Was it Hunter Green?
Mm-hmm. Hunter Green and Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man, they were dealing yesterday. What was it? 16 combined strikeouts. Green had 9 of them. They were really going, and Green even threw 100+ pitches at one point yesterday. So they were going toe to toe, but it's cool to see the local boy standing out and getting a little shine yesterday. Big solo homer there.
I've got a good history in June, I guess, so need to make it a longer month, said Reynolds.
just tack on a couple more days. Never hurt nobody.
Yeah, but let's see. Mitch Keller, it marked his 46th straight start of at least 5 innings. The longest active streak in the majors. Who would have thought?
And that's crazy. And what's wild, Mose, they took him out. He was only at 80-something pitches. He's just over 80. And had a 2-hitter going. And he had I think it was a 7-pitch walk though. And as soon as he had that 7-pitch walk in the 7th, they just yanked him right out of there. Otherwise, we'd have been talk about a rarity. If both of those guys had been going 7+ innings, I feel like that never happens anymore.
It really it feels like it doesn't. Yeah, between either guys not being able to get there or coaching staffs just being really cautious and trying to manage their guys. So yeah, you don't see guys hook horns like that, like those classic pitchers duels. By the 5th or 6th, both those guys are typically out. So yeah, nice to see those guys working well into the game yesterday. And again, 1-0. That's, you don't see a whole lot of those these days. Garrett Cole trying to get back into, I wouldn't say midseason form, considering yesterday was his season debut for the Yankees, but he goes 4+, gives up a couple of earned runs, but strikes out 5. Ultimately, the Yankees fell in 10 innings to Baltimore 7-6. But, if you're the Yankees, you got to be encouraged by that, I would think.
Yeah, as well as they've been playing, having him back could be that extra piece, that in their mind makes them go from being a really good team to an elite team. We'll see. Although you got to tip your cap to Baltimore. A couple random Orioles friends in my life were talking about how crazy that game was last night, as it looked like the Yankees had kind of done enough to, in extra innings, after they tied up in the ninth, you're thinking, all right, well, the Yankees probably going to win this thing. And then boom, Baltimore puts 2 across and sneaks out a win. They were a little more excited about that one than just your average win. And then those guys are getting ready to go again today. I think they start up here in just a couple minutes.
Well, I mean, the Yankees 51-25 with that loss. I think they may be the only 50-win team in the majors. So yeah, if you've got Oriole fans in your life, they have reason to be excited over that one. That puts them a game and a half back of the Yankees in the AL East with that win. And 9 games up on Boston, by the way. Boston 40-35, and they are 10.5 games back in the AL East.
As good as that division is, the Yankees and the Orioles have really started, like you said, separating themselves from everybody else.
Exactly. Philadelphia's next win will be their 50th, by the way. They are 49-25. And I think they lost to San Diego yesterday, maybe.
I think that, yeah, they did 5-2.
They lost. Yeah. So,
that's right, because we mentioned on air, we were talking about the Braves win yesterday. The Phillies were on the verge of losing as well, so that did go final after we went off.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of stuff works around here. It happens after we go off the air. So, we talked about the Elite Giants winning 9-4 down at First Horizon Park last night. That snapped a 5-game losing streak for Nashville, and it extended a 12-game hitting streak for Wes Clark, who hit a ground rule double during that victory for Nashville. So we noticed him. He I think he homered in back-to-back games down at Gwinnett last week, and he's been on a heater, as you like to say. And so Nashville and Durham will continue tonight at 6:35 over at First Horizon, and that series wraps up on Sunday with a day game, but they will be playing. So go check them out over at FHP this weekend. Hour number 1 of Main Street Sports Today has wrapped up. When we return to the Lee Company studios after this break, we'll be joined by John Denton, who covers the St. Louis Cardinals for MLB.com. He is in Birmingham getting ready for #MLB at Rickwood, as the Cardinals and the Giants will play at the country's oldest baseball facility. So come back with us for that. Looking forward to it.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
Or number 2 of Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, starts right now. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Wade Neely. And we are soon to be joined by John Denton, who covers the St. Louis Cardinals for MLB.com. He is in Birmingham getting ready for tonight's game at Rickwood Field between the Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants. And both those teams coming off of road losses last night. So it's been a hectic 24 hours, I guess, for both the Giants and the Cardinals. Cardinals fell 4-3 at Miami. The Giants fell 6-5 at Wrigley Field to the Cubs. So interesting matchup in a number of ways, I guess.
Yeah, and now that you say it like that, Mo, so then tomorrow are they off, and then
they are, yeah.
They go to St. Louis on Saturday and Sunday. Is that right?
Correct. That is correct. Yeah. So
you get the off. You get the tonight's kind of the main event then obviously, and yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's just one game of 162, but man, it is going to be fun to watch, and these kind of highlight games. Like you mentioned yesterday, these kind of field of dreams type situations. Baseball is the one sport that can build drama like no other. And when they do it right, it is done very well. And I think tonight is going to be a fantastic setup for both teams.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously we talked yesterday about the passing of Willie Mays on Tuesday. And this was really setting up to be a tribute, not just to the Negro Leagues, but to him. He played his first professional game at Rickwood Field as a member of the Birmingham Black Barons. And, I'm sure that will continue to be the case even more so now, but certainly it's a different feel to the night with his recent and unfortunate passing at the age of 93. So I think Major League Baseball and everybody involved with this will really treat this with the touch that it deserves, and it's going to be a great night, like you said. Kind of looking forward to seeing what all comes out of this. So again, John Denton scheduled to join us. I think he is on the way. Is that what you said, Mark?
Yes, he is.
Okay, good.
Cheapest ticket tonight looks like it's about $230 down the outfield line. If you want a box suite, there's one available on SeatGeek for $26,000. It appears.
Still,
Yep.
4 hours before game time.
Yep, you only got a little bit of time to get in there. That's on SeatGeek.
26.
Yeah, you can get it. You can get in for $250K or $250. That's not a bad ticket, all things considered, because the attendance is very sparse. What do we say? Is it 10,000? No, 10,000 seats. Is that right?
It's something like that. It's not a lot for sure. 6:15 start actually in Birmingham. So
10,800 is listed as capacity, and we'll be to talk to
and there's
John and
still
see kind of what if it's changed at all for tonight's game, obviously.
And there's still seats available. I'm a little surprised at that.
I mean,
really.
this is on SeatGeek. These are resales, of course. I'm sure this thing is sold out, but
right. The secondary market. Huh?
Yeah, the good old secondary market. I'll go to StubHub while we're killing some time here and see what do a little price shopping here, because this is one that is a hot ticket, number one, but also obviously with the limited seating is kind of what makes it kind of so cool.
Yeah. Rick Wood hosted the Birmingham Barons until 1988 when they moved out to Hoover. The Barons play a regular season game each year at Rick Wood and played Montgomery, Tuesday night?
Yep.
Over there. Mm-hmm. So I think actually Birmingham Southern may have been playing their home games there.
That would not surprise me, obviously, given the crazy situation that they've had on campus this year.
They Rick Wood has hosted the Savannah Bananas the last couple of years. They host a Rick Wood Classic every year. So, I mean, even though they have not had a regular tenant, there's still been a lot of activity at that ballpark since the Barons left after the 1988 season. But at the same time, I think Major League Baseball put a lot into sprucing things up for tonight's game. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It was not Birmingham Southern. It was Miles. Miles College is going to begin playing their home games there next year. Sorry about that. So.
Looks like Ticketmaster.com, you can get in for $350. So, yeah, if you're trying to penny pinch a little bit, it does look like SeatGeek's your way to go tonight to get in to check them out if you got any interest in scoping things out. And is this on full-blown? Is this on full-blown TV tonight, or do we say it's on MLB Network? Or have we said
it's on Fox.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
I've got the Euros going on in the background. You know, it's a big deal when they're showing commercials for it during the soccer match. I mean, so that's kind of where Fox is going with their promo for tonight.
Speaking of the Euros, Germany won again last night, right? Or yesterday?
Yeah. Right at the end of the show, we mentioned they defeated Scotland in the opener, and they knocked off Hungary yesterday. And things have kind of been rolling. England with a very disappointing, by their standards, they're calling it the 1-1 loss in England today, which is crazy because they had a 1-0 draw. They won 1-0 in their first match, and now they called that a draw. Now they called this a 1-1 loss. And then The other big thing, Fox is hosting both of these tournaments. The Copa America will kick off tonight, and the USA is playing in this. This is the big South American tournament, but because it's kind of a celebratory year, they're going to get in. So they'll play on Sunday to kick things off. So Fox has got it going on, really, is I guess where I'm going with that, Mo. They've got the baseball game tonight. They're showing 3 soccer matches from Europe every day, and then they're going to be showing a couple each day from South America. So it's a good time to be a Fox exec, I suppose, at this juncture.
Well, a good time to be a Fox exec, not necessarily to be Fox personnel, because it sounds like they are getting stretched pretty thin. Renovations to Rickwood included upgrading the grass playing surface to modern big league standards, padding and moving the outfield walls, overhauling the dugouts, adding new lights, and shifting the field. They shifted the entire field to the left by 5 feet to make it more symmetrical. Goodness. That's to visualize shifting a field.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, it is. So hopefully we can get John in to talk a little bit more about what Rickwood looks like and what the vibe is down there here now 3 hours before game time, because would really like to dive into that just a little bit. But I wonder what go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned the oldest park, but I'm kind of been reading some stuff here while we're waiting on John here. And in 1992, I mean, this is crazy to think about. And this is kind of, I guess, the cool part too, that the fact that MLB is kind of coming in, and, I wonder how much they really have kind of thrown into the renovations or, some upgrades or some tweaks here and there, because seems like by 1992, this stadium was basically in disrepair. And the fact that not only has it been restored, but now it's kind of getting showcased on the big stage tonight kind of really speaks to the city's efforts and kind of what they have done.
Yeah. And, kudos to everybody involved in, keeping that facility up and running, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, Greer Stadium did not hold the type of romance, I guess, maybe with the city or anything like that, or with the sport that Rickwood did. But when the Sounds moved from Greer Stadium to First Horizon, you talk about falling into disrepair. It was really kind of unfortunate the way that facility was allowed to be let go after they vacated the premises over there, because it seemed like there was a lot more that could have been done with it than was. And I've not been down Chestnut, and I don't know when, so I don't know what it looks like over there now, but I know at one time it was pretty decrepit, for lack of a better phrase. So
other interesting note, it looks like that, as I mentioned, kind of around the early 90s, it was kind of in some tough times. And I never saw this movie, but the movie Cobb that stars Tommy Lee Jones came out in 94, and they actually kind of restored the park then because they thought it would be so cool, because Ty Cobb himself had played there back in 1910 when it was kind of built.
Right.
So they kind of threw some money into it. So the fact that it's kind of been a treasured kind of piece of, maybe it hadn't been fully supported the way it should be, which is kind of unfortunate, but the fact that at least it's kind of been propped up and held together for this long. And now maybe, hopefully, as you mentioned, especially Miles coming in and playing some games there. I mean, this event tonight, maybe that just shines an extra light on it. Maybe we kind of see this thing really kind of continue to be taken care of the way it should be at this point, kind of a crown jewel of old-timey baseball.
Yeah, Cobb was filmed there, like you said. 42 was filmed there, a movie about Jackie Robinson that starred Chadwick Boseman in the title role. Also, Soul of the Game, a Negro League-based movie, featured Rickwood Field. So it has certainly had its place since it hasn't necessarily hosted games on a regular basis. But big night tonight for the facility as the Giants and Cardinals step in there. And we now have John Denton, who covers the Cardinals for MLB.com. JD, what's going on? Where they got y'all set up at? That doesn't look like a press box per se.
No, I'm in a media tent beyond the left field fence. I'm behind the fence. They have a nice tent for us. They have AC set up for us, so it's nice and cool in here, but it's scorching hot outside, as you can imagine.
AC is a good thing right now in Birmingham, I'm sure. Man, how's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. Mo, us sports writers, we're stealing money. We get to go to ball games for free. So I used to complain about being tired, and my dad would say, "Shut up. You haven't worked a day in your life."
Yeah, my dad hasn't done that, but he's probably thought it anyway. Yeah, you just had player availability down there. What is the vibe in the clubhouses as this game is 3 hours out now?
Yeah. Mason Wynn, shortstop, African-American shortstop for the Cardinals, he said, he's probably going to be maybe the only African-American player tonight's game. And he said, at some point, the emotion of that's probably going to hit him. He grew up, he met his stepfather when he was 8 years old. His stepfather told him all about Ozzie Smith and Willie Mays, and his favorite player was Hank Aaron, and he told him all about Hank Aaron. So, I think the magnitude of all that is hitting him now. And, Brendan Donovan, the Cardinals utility fielder, Gold Glover, he said, first thing he thought of when he stepped on the field was the courage that it took those players, who weren't allowed to play in Major League Baseball, the courage that it took to play in the Negro Leagues and what they had to go through just to play a sport that they loved. So, I think the magnitude of it, now that the players are here, it's really starting to hit these players.
It's nice to hear a Brendan Donovan in particular say that kind of thing because, John, the reality of it is, and we all get caught up in social media and this and that, and so many people, when you have these type events and when you go off on these type conversations, there's always a faction that says, why does it matter? And Mason Wynn and Brendan just spoke to that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if this makes one little kid at home, go on Google and Google Rickwood Field and find out the history of this. If it makes, 10 people back, in St. Louis or Nashville or Jackson, Tennessee, where I'm from, if it makes them look up Willie Mays and find out what an incredible human being he was, on top of possibly being the best all-around player in the history of the game, then it's worth it. These things matter. And, we may gloss over it and say, it's just corporate this, whatever. These things matter to the next generation who've never heard about Rickwood Field, who've never heard of Cool Papa Bell or Josh Gibson or, even Hank Aaron, guys like that. If it makes 50 little kids look up who Hank Aaron was, this was worth it.
Had you been to Rickwood before, John? Because I've not.
I have not. I've been to Birmingham. I've been to Dreamland Barbecue, but I have not been here, Mo. But I mean, man, looking around this place, the history, just, everywhere you look, it seeps history. And, I got to walk around, you see me sweating now. I just walked along the warning track out in the outfield. The center field fence, I think, is 482 feet. So if somebody hits one out here tonight, it's going to be a poke. But, that's the way it was set up back in the Negro Leagues. And it's cool that they've kept the integrity of this field while also, Major League Baseball spent on a new infield. They built new dugouts. And Kyle Gibson said today, he said, hey, we'll get, the advantage of doing this tonight. But how many hundreds and hundreds of kids who play AAU games here, who play, Babe Ruth League games here are going to have nice Major League dugouts now because of this event. So, it's kind of a me culture right now, but this is about so much more than even just these players tonight.
Absolutely. John, I'm curious. We were discussing kind of all the ins and outs and the intricacies of the park and the city and its history with Major League Baseball and Negro League Baseball for sure. But I'm curious, what's the vibe like as far as the Birmingham support? Is there a big local interest in this game? And kind of, if you could speak to that, I guess.
Yeah, they tried to turn this into a 3-day event. They're limited number of tickets. It's a smaller stadium, so there weren't that many tickets for tonight. That's why they did a minor league game on Tuesday, and they did the celebrity game last night. And that way it was able to open up more tickets. And, there was an event this morning at the Southern League Hall of Fame. There was an event at the Boys and Girls Club. So they've really tried to get out in the community. I mean, it's tough for these two teams. I mean, the Giants played yesterday in Chicago against the Cubs. The Cardinals played in Miami against the Marlins. So both teams are kind of just blowing through. But I mean, the leaders of the teams this morning, the president of the Giants was at the Boys and Girls Club. So they're really trying to do things in the community, invite as many people in as they can possibly.
John Denton, who covers the Cardinals for MLB.com, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. You know, JD, obviously this is a big tip of the hat to the Negro Leagues. It's, you know, as we've discussed, Willie Mays played his first ever professional game here at Rickwood Field. How do you balance the tribute and, you know, his recent unfortunate passing just a couple of days ago?
Yeah, you know, I wrote about it today. Albert Pujols was in 11 All-Star games, and he said his favorite one, it wasn't the last one when he, you know, made a run in the home run derby. It wasn't the one in St. Louis. It was 2007 in San Francisco when he got to sit in a room with Willie Mays for like 20 minutes and just talk about life. And he said Willie would always make an attempt to come around the batting cage and ask him how his family was doing. And he said it's rare that you meet a guy who's the best player in the game, but he's also the best person in the game. So Albert said, while we're sad, we're going to turn this event into a celebration of his life. You know, we got 93 years of Willie Mays on this earth. So this is going to be a celebration. Tonight, you know, there's obviously a pall because everybody hoped Willie was going to be here. We kind of found out 2 or 3 days ago that he wasn't going to be here. You know, he passed, but, you know, tonight's going to be a celebration of Willie Mays' life, no doubt about it.
John, you also talked about that celebrity event. Barry Bonds, interesting character to say the least, but Willie Mays' godson. What kind of reaction did he get kind of at the event last night, as he was kind of one of the celebs that was in attendance?
Yeah, he was kind of on the outside of it. You know, Barry didn't expose himself that much, but I mean, Barry's a big deal. You and Mo appreciate this today. Barry Bonds was eating at the table next to me in Dreamwood. What's the name of
Dreamland.
it? Dreamland Barbecue. He was sitting at the table next to me. So we told the waitress, I don't know if you know it or not, but that's Barry Bonds at the table next to us. And we thought, you know, she'd be chill. She spins around and says, Barry Bonds, like that. And Barry's like, you know, trying to keep a low profile. And she like screams out his name or whatever and gets him to autograph a napkin. So she had zero chill at all. But
I thought you were going to say that you said, hey, we're going to pick up his check. And then you got a story for the rest of your life there is where I thought you were going to go with that, John.
Hey, I'm a sports writer like Mo Patton. We have short arms and deep pockets. We don't ever reach for the check.
You know what though? If I'd had the opportunity to pick up Barry Bonds, I might have had to refinance.
I feel like it'd be a great story, right?
That would be. That'd be awesome.
One more story for you guys. Joe Torre was also there, and I have a picture at home where Joe Torre has the big mutton chop sideburns on his face. This is like 1970. And there's a picture of him holding me as a baby on Cardinal Photo Day. So I told Joe that story a couple of years ago, and I'm 6'5", you know, a cheeseburger or two overweight. And he says, well, I'll tell you what, big boy, we're not going to recreate it today. So Joe was sitting a couple tables away also today.
That's awesome. John Denton of MLB.com joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Man, I know you got a lot to do to get ready for this 6:15 first pitch between the Cardinals and the Giants down at Rickwood Field. We appreciate you working us in, and stay cool. Hey, where are they going to have y'all set up for the game?
We're going to be down the left field line. There's going to be auxiliary seating there. The press box is rather tiny. I think there's about 4 or 5 seats in there for, you know, a few of the national guys, but we're going to be down the left field line. But last night during the celebrity game, there was quite a breeze, and it was actually quite pleasant.
Okay, well, good. Like I said, stay cool, stay hydrated, and we'll catch up with you, man. Thanks for taking some time.
Yes, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, talk to you. Hey, we are going to take a break here on Main Street Sports today. When we return to the Lee Company studios, we will be getting ready for Coach's Corner as we welcome in Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins. So stay tuned after this break.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Superspeedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Wild horses are coming to Franklin. The Mustang Heritage Spectacular. 4 days of celebrity freestyle, liberty training, trick riding, and extreme Mustang makeover. Plus the shopping. Over 100 vendor spaces with clothing, food, home goods, and things you can't find anywhere else. All that and celebrity signings at a music stage too. June 20th through 23rd at Williamson County Ag Expo Park. Don't miss a moment with a weekend pass. MustangHeritageFoundation.org for tickets.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
Thursday continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton, along with Wade Neely, as we await the arrival of Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins for Coach's Corner. Other coaching news has taken place during our broadcast, however. The Lakers have landed their coach, apparently, and it is former non-coach, but ESPN analyst J.J. Redick making his coaching debut on the Lakers sidelines, apparently. 39-year-old Cookeville, Tennessee native, by the way, which always kind of tickles me when folks refer to that. I don't know how much time he spent in Cookeville, but it's where he was born, so he's a Cookeville native. And he is now the replacement for Darvin Ham atop the Lakers roster, again, no coaching experience. How does this
Crazy.
work?
Yeah, and I was just about to ask you, Mo. I'm reading an article, and I'm curious your thoughts because the article says who's taking the bigger risk, JJ Redick or the Lakers in this situation?
I don't think it's a risk at all for JJ Redick. I mean, worst case scenario, he crashes and burns and goes back to ESPN. $8 million a year richer.
Seems
apparently.
like, yeah, that's how it feels, right? It feels like he's kind of the one that's going to end up okay in this situation, where it feels like the Lakers, they got a lot to lose if things don't go so hot.
It's a win-win situation for JJ. I mean, no matter what happens, if he goes out and goes 0-82, which I don't think he will go 0-82, because I think he'd get canned before they got to 82. But he's fine. The Lakers are supposed to be one of the storied franchises of the National Basketball Association, and you would like to think that they could get somebody who had coached at least one professional game. It sounds desperate to me.
Seems real desperate, and man, it seems like they're doing everything in their power to keep LBJ happy. And if that means going out and hiring your buddy, we've seen player buddy ball kind of float around the NBA for the last, decade, it feels like. And we've kind of entered the realm where the buddies have gotten old enough that now they could be the buddy coach type situation.
I think the thing that you have to be wary of, though, is, if it doesn't work, then what? And I think there's a lot of room for it to not work.
I think so.
I mean, LeBron, you're not getting vintage LeBron, first of all. And, it hasn't worked really since the bubble. Has it really worked for the Lakers, regardless of who the coach was? Maybe it's not the coach.
Well, it's a couple different pieces to this puzzle. And the interesting thing, and I don't know that anybody would ever go on record as saying this, but the Lakers are really grasping at straws here in the sense, I don't know who you go out and hire that's going to get you to be able to beat the Nuggets, the Wolves, or the Mavericks right now. I mean, those are just the top three.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're kind of keeping LeBron around, it almost feels like you're just keeping LeBron around and just trying to keep the status quo. Well, if we're not going to really be able to compete for championships, at least we can be entertaining. At least we can sell tickets, and at least Crypto Arena doesn't, look like a morgue more often than not. And so in a weird way, it just almost kind of feels like, hey, we're just going to keep everybody happy if we win some games. They're not that bad, but the only problem is they're not that good compared to the other top teams that are in the Western Conference. I didn't even mention the Thunder, who are the number 1 seed this year.
And in that way, like you say, you're kind of postponing the inevitable. At some point, the Lakers are going to have to rebuild. And once LeBron James is no longer on that roster, what do you have? So somebody who may be able to help us through some of this as we transition into Coach's Corner here on Main Street Sports today. Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins joins us. And Coach, we wanted to get you on to talk about your upcoming celebrity event next weekend. But this news of Jay Redick getting the Lakers gig. First, good afternoon. Appreciate you taking some time with us. What, as a former player, as a current coach at the collegiate level, you've coached more games than JJ Redick has. Did they reach out?
Yeah, that's correct. First of all, I want to let you guys know I've had an unbelievably long day today. I haven't had a second to breathe, and I'm in my favorite restaurant, Las Palmas, right now. So, and I want Las Palmas to give me a little NIL deal since I eat here so much.
It feels like they probably should. But have you had a chance to really kind of digest this Redick to the Lakers?
Yeah,
news?
I'm a big Lakers fan, and I agree with everything I just heard you say about the Lakers' struggles. I don't think it's a coaching thing. I think it's a personnel thing with the roster. There's nothing worse in professional sports than Asian superstars. You know, it's so hard to let them go or trade them or know when the good time to let them go. And I'm not saying that LeBron needs to be let go, but he needs youth around him, clearly. And it's not a coaching thing at all. The J.J. Redick situation, it can go either way. You know, I remember when Steve Kerr got the job, and, you know, he had some experience, but there was a lot of people questioning it when Mark Jackson got let go for Steve Kerr. They didn't know he would go on to win 4 championships. But I think the real test, you look at a guy like Steve Nash who never had any experience, and it's like, look how that failed miserably for him. You know, being a great player doesn't always equate to being a great coach. J.J. Redick does know the game, but I don't care who you are. If you don't have the Jimmys and the Joes, the X's and O's do not work.
You had to go out and get a whole new roster of Jimmys and Joes this offseason. How has that been? And is it a little easier to digest the Las Palmas now than it was maybe 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's so much better now. I would say that it was a fun process for us, you know, for our coaching staff. You know, there was a time right there when it's like we were banging out, getting good commitments back to back to back. And if you're not excited about recruiting or excited about learning new people, and then this is not the profession for you anymore. This is how the turnover is going to be in every college program around the country. The OVC had 15 all-conference players, 14 transferred or graduated. It's crazy. And it's the same for the Missouri Valley. They had 15 all-conference. I was talking to Casey Alexander at Belmont. They had 15 all-conference players. All 15 graduated or transferred out of Missouri Valley. So that's the new world we're in. And you can either look at it like a daunting task, or you can be excited about the opportunity to recruit. And I feel like that's our lifeline. We are great at recruiting, and I feel like we got a great team that we put together. And only thing is, fellas, I'm still learning their names. I'm in practice calling all kind of names, but it's really fun. It's really cool, kind of seeing it all come together.
Put name tags on them, huh?
Yeah.
You know, Brian, you talk about this as the world that you're in now, and you know, as a staff, how do you adjust to that? I mean, do you have someone devoted to monitoring the portal and that kind of thing, in addition to whatever else you're doing with, you know, with high school prospects, with junior college prospects, that kind of thing?
No, nobody's devoted to it, but you know, the transfer portal doesn't really get heated up until March when the season's end. So once that happens, and you kind of know what guys you got coming back and going in the portal, then the transfer portal literally turns into social media. We're on there every single second, every day. You log in, seeing, you might refresh it. There might be 13 new guys on there. It's crazy. But I can tell you, man, we got a stat sheet that we put together. We got 13, 12 new guys, 12 new guys. And I would tell you that we probably went through 75 plus recruits in a 6-week period to get to those 13. So a lot of yeses, more no's than yeses. And a lot of times it was us saying no to recruits, but you have to try to build fences up around these recruits, and you have to do what I like to call speed dating in junior college. My junior college group's coming back around. You speed date and you try to get to know them as quick as possible. Talk to the former coaches, former high school coaches, daddies, mamas, uncles, aunties, and in some cases, fellas, the girlfriends too. So we try to find everything we can about them, and so they can fit into the culture that we're trying to create here.
Go ahead, Boyd.
I was going to say, how refreshing is it now to have that done, but also just to get back to coaching really more than anything, Penny, as you kind of just, it's like, oh, I kind of forgot this was the real part of the job, because so much of your mental bandwidth has to be put toward recruiting and even re-recruiting some of the same guys that are already on your current roster.
Yeah, it's tough, man. So once you get done, you take a deep breath and you realize, like, okay, I'm done. I can relax now. No relax time. It's time to coach now. So, you know, we had to schedule practices and figure out what times these guys got class, and scheduling around that, and they got weights, and you got new guys that are trying to teach values and our non-negotiables. And it takes time, but you have to fall in love with the process. You either adapt to this new world we're in or you die. It's just really that simple. And that's why you're seeing legends like Nick Saban and Jim Boeheim and Roy Williams and these legends that we grew up watching, Jay Wright, are getting out of the business because it's just a different world that we're in now. And if you're not willing to adapt to it, you have to get out.
Tennessee State men's basketball coach Brian Collins joining us on Coach's Corner here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Coach, you talk about building a culture with the roster turning over the way it is, and apparently with that becoming a yearly thing. How do you speed date your way through building a culture among a bunch of guys who 6 weeks ago didn't know each other?
You try to have real, true, authentic relationships with them. My office is placed in the perfect place, is right beside the locker room, so they have to walk past me every day. And you bring guys in and have fun with them, talk with them, bring them out to the house, cook food for them, go swimming with them at the house. We just spend as much time as we can. But the relationships that they have with us is very important, for sure. But the biggest challenge, what people don't understand, is the relationship they have with each other. I'm not going to be the one out there playing. They have to spend time with each other and build real, true, authentic relationships. It's funny because in my first meeting, I'm so used to telling my players, man, I love y'all, man, I love y'all. And at the end of the meeting, I said, fellas, I love y'all, but y'all know that's not real because I don't even know y'all yet. So we need to get to a place where I can tell you I love y'all and y'all say I love you too, coach. But that only happens over time. And sometimes you got to go through some tough times to build that callus of true love and the true love they have for each other. And the biggest one is having the love for the university. And how do you create that? Well, we're showing them documentaries of championship teams from here, from Tennessee State, legends like Dick Barnett and what they did here, the legends like Robert Covington, and then obviously people that have done it like from other programs like Coach K and even Coach Bennett at Virginia. We try to show them what it takes to be a team so that they don't have to go through this learning curve. I'll give you the perfect example. Boston won it this year, right? Won the NBA championship. They didn't win it this year. They won it 5 years of going there and failing. And that failure gave them the hunger to go back and win it this year. Michael Jordan had to lose to the Pistons to win it. You got to fail to make it. And I don't want this team to, we're not at a place where it's like, we got to lose in the conference tournament and next year we'll win it. No, we have to feel the pain of loss now so that we can have a group that's already hungry. We know what it feels like to lose because we're in the transfer portal. We came from somewhere else where they didn't want us. We're trying to create these storylines to these guys. So it's we don't want to go get there and lose because we don't have next year. We got right now. So creating those environments, creating chaos in practice so that they're able to understand, okay, this is what we're here for. We're here for the names on the front of our jerseys, not the back.
Coach, you've got a big event coming up next weekend, your third annual D2W Deserve to Win Celebrity All-Star Weekend, and it's always a big deal over on campus. I've seen some of the names that you've got committed. Who you got coming in, and who are you excited about seeing on the floor next weekend?
Oh, some big-time names, man. Go ahead, hold on. You need some? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, fellas.
That's all right.
Little technical breakdown. All right, so we got some big-time names, but what's funny? Putting together this Deserve to Win roster was harder than putting together the my actual roster.
Well,
but I would tell you, let me pull it up and look at it.
There was one name in particular that jumped out at me on as you were releasing some of these names on social media. Well, two, Mario Moore and Candace Dupree look like they're going to be lacing them up for you.
Yes, I'm excited. So Candace Dupree, the newly appointed women's basketball coach here, WNBA star, all-star champion. She's a really sweet lady. I'm looking forward to working with her. She's going to be there. Like you said, Mario Moore, Vanderbilt legend, Nashville legend. I'm excited to bring him back to Nashville. We got two country music stars, Willie Jones and Jimmy Allen. I'm excited about both of those young men. We got a rap artist by the name of Block Boy, who's one of the biggest rappers in the world. Got songs with Drake and everybody that you can think of. He's going to be here. We're bringing in a bunch of Titans players, Mike Brown, Matt Jackson, and Hassan Haskins. We were bringing in former NFL superstars like TSU alumni Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. My favorite one that I'm excited about is my favorite scary movie of all time, Scream. We're bringing in Scream star David Arquette, so he's gonna be playing in the game. Really excited about him. And then we're gonna have some more surprise guests up our sleeve as well that I don't want to mention yet because as we know, they might not show up. So we'll see how that goes. Jamie Graham.
Are you gonna play?
Yes, I'm gonna try. My whole goal is to not get hurt. We always want to see a backcourt of Penny Collins and Mario Moore. So this gonna be the first time we actually see us in the same team.
Years in the making, coach.
Yeah, we're both 40 years old, but at least we'll finally play together.
Now, is there enough balls for both of y'all?
Oh yeah, we're both pass first guys. So hopefully Mario passed the ball to me a little bit more than I passed the ball to him because I'm the one that needs. It's my game, so he got to pass the ball to me. And
it's your game. It's your gym.
Exactly. And we're gonna be playing against Bobby Mays, who played at the University of Tennessee, and I'm just excited, man. It's gonna be a really fun game. But that's only one game. That's the first game. We have a serious game against Penny Hardaway's bringing a team down of Memphis, former University of Memphis Stars, that are going to be playing against my team that I'm putting together, full of Nashville stars and some guys with local flavor.
Would Dante Jones be among those?
Dante Jones is playing the celebrity game, the first game.
Oh, okay.
We don't want Dante to play with those young boys. The second game is going to be NBA players and overseas guys. So, but Dante is playing in the first game.
Okay,
but it sounds like the first game still is going to be competitive, even though it's got the celebrity designation, right?
Correct. Celebrities, but the Titans players and those guys, myself, we gonna get out there and have fun. But the last 5-10 minutes it'll get serious. But the real game is the Memphis versus Nashville, where Penny's bringing his crew down to play against my crew. Penny versus Penny, Memphis versus Nashville. That's the second game.
First game's at 2. The second game's after that over at Gentry Center. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We're going to have a small performance from a big-time producer named Bandplay, who's produced Grammy-nominated records. We're excited about him. And then right after that, the second game will start.
Okay. All right. Tell folks how they can get tickets.
You go to Ticketmaster.com. They're right there. Order them. If you want to get courtside seats, you have to call our ticket office. That's posted all on our social medias. But you have to call Monday through Thursday between 9 and 4:30 because they're closed on Fridays. But it's going to be a great event. Double header, get a chance to see some people that you watched on TV and see them up close and personal for only $20 a double header. That's $10 a game to see celebrities. And then at the end of the day, it's a great cause. It's going back to our basketball program to have a chance to get nutritious meals, travel better, just overall make our program in a place where we're not struggling to be on the same playing field as other programs around the country.
Absolutely.
Penny Collins, men's basketball coach at Tennessee State, joining us here on Coach's Corner. Coach, we appreciate it. We have kept you from your Las Palmas long enough, so go ahead and get into that. And thanks for taking some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate you guys, man. And I need y'all to see y'all at the game now.
We'll see what we can do, Coach. But it sounds like it's going to be a great time regardless. We'll talk to you. When we come back for the final segment of Main Street Sports Today here on Throwback Thursday, it's the grab bag. Stay with us.
Are you the biggest race fan? Main Street Media and Rackley Roofing are teaming up to send a family of 4 to the Rackley Roofing 200 truck race at the Nashville Super Speedway on June 28th. All you have to do is head to your favorite Main Street Media site and click on the Rackley banner to win.
On Throwback Thursday on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, returning to the Lee Company studios. Here I'm Maurice Patton along with Wade Neely. Final segment of the day. The Men's College World Series has its championship series set. And if you're not a Southeastern Conference fan, you may be a little bothered by this because it's Tennessee and Texas A&M that will be squaring off at 7:30 on Saturday in Game 1 out in Omaha. Tennessee down Florida State 7-2 yesterday. A&M with a 6-0 win over Florida. So 3 of your Final Four teams were out of the SEC, and Florida State wasn't able to upset that apple cart. So this is going to be interesting. I think these teams, well, I know they did not play during the regular season. They did play in the SEC tournament down in Hoover, and UT won that matchup. But it's going to be interesting, I think, as both of these teams are in the championship series. Well, Tennessee for the first time since 1951, and obviously it wasn't configured the way it is now. A&M, I think it's their first as well. So,
yeah,
big
this
deal.
is gonna be a fun series, and I saw it summed up best on socials last night. Said you have an amazing collection of arms in the dugout for Texas A&M, and you got an amazing lineup for Tennessee. Something's got to give this weekend when those two teams get it on.
Tennessee has 5 guys with 20-plus home runs. No one has ever done that in Division I baseball. Also, UT has the most wins over the previous 4 seasons of any Division I baseball team. So the Vols got a lot going for them, man. I don't know. I don't think I would go out on a limb and pick this series, but I think Tennessee has a great chance to get it done at this point, especially once they get a chance to reset their pitching. So it's going to be a great series, I think.
I saw another good tweet last night, Mo, that the way it's set up, yeah, you mentioned the tournament was a little bit different, but now even if you include Texas and Oklahoma for next year, every team in the SEC except for Auburn and Kentucky, according to, this is from Reddit College Football, ironically, every team has made an appearance in the College World Series championship, with Tennessee and Texas A&M this year. And even if you go back all the way, of course, to 1964 when little old Mizzou won the thing. But the SEC, already a dominant program, and then you're adding Texas and Oklahoma next year. This is going to be a fun series. And, man, Texas is hoping Texas A&M. Texas is the biggest Tennessee fan on the planet going into this weekend.
Oh, goodness, you're right. Yeah. They would hate to have to listen to that. So, going to be fun. Going to be exciting to keep up with, I think. Little fun was had in Toronto last night as the Nashville Soccer Club picks up a 2-1 victory up there. Their first win in a minute.
Yeah, and had to come from behind. We were at the gym last night. My phone dings, and I looked at a buddy, and I said, that's not good. And he said, what? And I said, Toronto's already scored. And then the phone dings again, and I saw it was the MLS app, and I was like, great, they probably scored again. But no. Sam Surridge with 2 goals, one in the 65th minute, and then a late at the death go-ahead goal as they win it 2-1 on the road. That is a big win for Nashville, who they get New York coming up at home this weekend, and then they get Miami at home next weekend, and that'll be the game that Messi will not be playing because of Copa America that's going on. So maybe a chance for Nashville with a couple of home matches to kind of get things rolling a little bit here.
They could use it. What, 5-8-5 now? Still in the mix for postseason, but that record,
they're one game out right now of officially in the top 7, which is the automatic playoff berth. Right now, they still would be in that weird 8-9 play-in game as the 8th seed. But yeah, they're only a couple wins away from kind of clicking. The crazy thing is they've got the 8 draws, like you mentioned. Yeah, those really are kind of a nothing burger a lot of times. But the fact you're not losing, you are getting a few little points here and there. And eight points is 8 points by the end of the season. And if they can start stacking a few wins, they could be in pretty good shape.
We didn't win, but we didn't lose. So, yeah. Recent trades, a couple in the National Hockey League that may help the Nashville Predators make their decision regarding goalkeeper UC Saros. Calgary Flames sent Jacob Markstrom to the New Jersey Devils after the Washington Capitals sent Darcy Kemper to the LA Kings. So, you know, if the Preds were thinking about moving Saros to a goalie light team, a couple of teams have fulfilled their needs at that spot, it seems. So, you know, maybe that trade market dwindles to the point that Saros does come back.
Yeah, that'd be wild, right? Because we talked with Teresa and we talked with Ann and a few others that have kind of not said it was a done deal by any stretch, but it certainly felt like it was getting closer to a sure thing that that Saros was going to get dealt. And I suppose if you bring him back, it's not the end of the world, other than, you know, potentially you have your own kind of goalie situation to resolve. But maybe they don't move him. It seems like Barry Trotz seems to me like a shrewd businessman, and he's not going to deal just to deal,
Right.
unless something really good comes his way.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like, you know, from listening again to Teresa and Ann, you feel like Saros is a nice trade piece, especially with what you've got down at Milwaukee at this point. But maybe it's not, you know, maybe you don't have to move him. And again, this is a guy that when he's on is probably one of the top goalies in the league. So it, like you said, wouldn't be the worst thing if he did come back. I don't think so. But there's not as many options now for making a move as there were, say, a week ago. So we'll be continuing to keep an eye on that over the course of the summer. Speaking of hockey, Edmonton should be a madhouse tonight as Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final goes to the Rogers Place, with Florida trying to hang on and close out what was a 3-0 series that has suddenly become a 3-2 series.
Tomorrow night, 7 p.m.
Is it tomorrow night? My bad.
Yep.
My bad. Jumping the gun.
Friday night. But yeah, the fact remains the same. And I wish it was tonight, because you're right. That place is going to be bumping. Edmonton will be going crazy. And for the first time all series, it feels like Edmonton, which is crazy to think about, because the Panthers have been a win away from clinching this thing for, it feels like, a week now. Pretty much has been a week, I suppose. But it just feels like Edmonton has all the momentum, and McDavid is just playing at a crazy level right now. Wouldn't be surprised if Edmonton forces a Game 7.
Goodness gracious. And if that happens, and obviously anything can happen in Game 7 back in Florida, that would be nuts.
It'll still be tough to win down there, but yeah, at that point, hey, if you're down 3-0 and you say, all right, I'll give you a Game 7, yeah, you'll take the odds no matter what they are.
Well, I mean, it'll be tough to win down there, but they just did it too.
Right. Yeah. Hey, we've won here more recently than you have, right?
Hello. Exactly. You know, we were talking about the situation in LA with JJ Redick and the Lakers. The NBA is nuts. Monty Williams got fired yesterday, I believe, after 1 year at Detroit. They were 14-68, but he had a 6-year, $78 million deal. And I think they got to pay him out. Detroit lost 28 straight. I mean, I understand it, but again, as we just mentioned about JJ Redick, I'm not sure who could have done a better job with Detroit than Monty Williams. And this guy's had a tough deal. New Orleans, Phoenix, and Detroit have all ended badly for him.
At least he's getting paid. And how about this? I didn't know this till just now, but the new Pistons president said he wants to make his own hire. That man is none other than the Alaskan assassin himself, Mr. Trajan Langdon.
Back
in the day.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. You want to hire your guy, I suppose.
Yeah. And with both of them being from Duke, I think that they did make a run at Redick, but obviously he went in another direction. So, hey, that's going to do it for today's Main Street Sports Today. Tomorrow's show will be a best of, because we are taking an extended weekend. We will see y'all back here Tuesday at 2:00. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.